Okay, here's the second battle. I did lie in my last point 5. I said that this would be the last point 5 for a while. There is another point 5 that was actually recorded ages ago, but I moved it because it was originally going to be the first point 5 before the last point 5, but I moved it so I think it's 82.5. So that'll be after this, but that was actually recorded before this. So it'll be there, and I might actually go record some more battles now, after this. If you followed that, well done. That didn't make any sense to me. The point is, there should be a couple more point 5s. I'll do my best to try and get some more. Now, I don't really remember this battle despite having it like today, because I was building a cross trainer like a few minutes ago, and my mind's just gone. All I remember is it was fucking frustrating. Anyway, he's kneed off with Meloetta, and I was like, yeah, someone using Meloetta, yeah! And he was like, I'm using it with a Jirachi as an offensive core. I was like, okay, that's cool. I wonder what his Jirachi could be then. If he's using a Meloetta, maybe his Jirachi's from Bizarre World, but, no, it's not. Either way, the fact he's using Meloetta is cool. I U-turn out on this Rotom. I wasn't paying attention there, so I didn't see the lefties. So I was in with Pharaoh like, oh, he might trick. Oh. But I do stay in anyway. I do believe I go for the Stealth Rockos as he goes into a Heatran. And that's fine, dandy by me. I just, it's good to have them. And here I'm predicting him not to go Fire Blast or kick my face in, because Polito's sitting there. And I'm just going to go Knock Off and make sure his air balloon is gone. And as I see later, that amounts to fuck all, really. Anyway, I'm going to switch out, and I'm going to go into Politoed now. And he's going to go for a Fire Blast. Now, there was a lot of hacks on both sides, but because there was so much of it, it kind of evened out. The Fire Blast was the first bit of hacks. Either way, I'm expecting him to switch because he's fucking useless now. So I'm actually just going to go for a Toxic. And I do hit the Toxic, and I hit the Rotom. So, yeah! And then I see the lefties. I'm like, okay, I made the smart play. So now his Rotom's just dead weight at this point. It's Toxic. I mean, I guess it can Pain Split, but at the end of the day, if I get it down to a 1-on-1, it's done. He goes Wisp, misses. That's second bit of hacks for him. At the end of the day, I have Rest. So the Fire Blast and Wisp were fairly inconsequential, but, it's a bit unfair. But as I said in the last point 5, part of the game. Although this battle was recorded before that battle. Just to add another mindfuck to this whole complicated stupidity. Anyway, I knew he was going to go Pain Split, but I didn't really want to switch out, because I was thinking going to Mienshao, because Mienshao's got a lot less HP, and I can recover it off with Regenerator. But I just go Scald, and here I figured he'd go Volt Switch, or Thunderbolt, something like that, or Wisp, whatever. Whatever he went for, I was planning on going Rest. So, that's cool beanies for me. Politoed's at full health. He is asleep, but he does have Sleep Talk, and the Rotom is around half after Stealth Rocks, and it's Toxic, which is just peachy. And here comes this Meloetta, and I'm like, oh, what's your gig? What? Because Meloetta, as a lot of people don't really seem to understand it, but it can do a hell of a lot of things. One of the sets that someone recommended to me on Pokemon Pit Beta was a Close Combat Relic Song, T-Bolt, and Hidden Power Ice Affair kind of thing. And he goes for a Thunder. I'm like, okay, you have a Sun team. That's funky. But he gets a crit power. And that, I'm not going to say it was huge, but it was definitely a hindrance on my part. And it did actually lead me to eventually sack Pharaoh. But there he goes, Thunder again. And at the moment, I'm assuming he's Specs. I haven't seen an item, so I'm just thinking Specs. But it's not really doing enough to Pharaoh. So I'm not entirely sure on that. But I'm going to go Leech Seed after getting Power Hack, so I'd say that evens out, just about. And I do get my Leech Seed, and I am getting a nice little chunklet of health back there, and he pretty much knows he can't stay in, but he does actually make some pretty good plays in this battle, which is why it was kind of frustrating. He was genuinely a good player. So he's going to switch out, he's going to go into Terrakion. And I am going to switch out, and I'm going to go into my Dragonite. Now, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to outspeed. It doesn't matter what he is. If he's fucking Jolly Banded, yeah, he's going to outspeed and kill me. So I'm going to switch out, and I'm going to Pharaoh. And I'm okay. He misses the stomach there. That's the third bit. So we've had 3 bits of hacks each. It's up to you whether you think one side was more important than the other side. But there you go. And he's going to switch his Drakion out, and he's going to go into his Rotom again. I am just going to go for a Power Whip and wreck its shit. And yeah, that's good. Now, the main problem for me here, the reason it was so frustrating, is because I made a mistake that someone else had made against me. I kept trying to predict up and down, and he kept making the bog standard, normal, samey old plays. He didn't have to predict; I did it for him. So I was predicting him to predict me to switch into something else, and I stay in, and I lose my Pharaoh. So I was effectively defeating myself. And when you get into that position and you keep trying to predict up and down, it gets really frustrating. And this guy actually did really well. He kept mixing in, like, just bog standard. He doesn't have to make a prediction. He knows that I'm going to do the wrong thing. And actually making smart plays. But here, I'm here with Dragonite now. And I'm going to go for a Roost because I wanted to get my health back. I maybe should have tried to go for the EQ, but I wasn't entirely sure. And I kind of want my Dragonite at decently high health in case I need it to be. So that's why that's done. Because he's got stand up, I do not have multi-scale, so I don't want to sit around for whatever he's going to do. And he goes Toxic, and he's got quite a funky looking Tyranitar. It's got Crunch, Toxic, Protect, and Ice Beam. And with Sand and Toxic, that's pretty good Toxic Staller. But he uses Protect really well, and it's very annoying, and this is why I'm starting to not really like Mienshao that much. Because I knew Mienshao was going to be crucial. I just had to get rid of another threat on his team. And Mienshao was pretty much good to go. But this Tyranitar put a massive block in my way. But I'm going to go into Gyarados here. Because I wasn't entirely sure what he had. And he's going to go Ice Beam. And I see that, I think, fuck, that's doing nothing, mate. So I'm actually just going to taunt him to try and stop him from Toxicking me. And he pulls the Crunch out. And it actually does a lot to the point where I don't keep my Gira around. So, maybe I should have tried to save it, maybe not, I don't know. Although Stealth Rocks probably would have killed it at that point. So I just go Waterfall, try and get as much damage as I can. Maybe get a flinch, but no, he's going to crunch me and he's going to take me out. So, well, the Sand is. So I lose my Gira and my Pharaoh, kind of nothing. It wasn't, it wasn't my best series of plays. I'm not feeling particularly confident at the moment, but I do see that nothing he has on this Tyranitar can touch my Magnezone for shit. However, what I probably should have done is probably gone into Politoed, because that Heatran walls my Magnezone for shit unless Rain is up. If Rain is up, Thunder, he dies, whatever. But because Rain isn't up, I'm not going to sit in there and make that gamble. And he knows that, and he's going to switch out. He's going to go to his Meloetta, knowing I was going to switch into Politoed. That's the most blissfully obvious thing in the world. So, he's making the right plays, you got to admit. And he's also seen that I don't have Magnet Pull because he switched out. So he's going to go Thunder. I was again predicting him to do something else, and it does a shit ton, especially to a Special All. Although, that said, Meloetta, not to be trifled with, a special attack like that. I miss a Toxic there, again, I don't think that mattered that much, as you'll see in a sec. I go into Magnezone, here I'm thinking he's Specs. I'm like, yes, he is definitely Specs, I'm sure of it. So he goes Thunder, Magnezone takes that wonderfully, and he is actually going to pull the Relic Song out of his arse. And here I make another, well, it wasn't really a dumb play in my mind, because again, I thought he was Specs. I thought he was going to get the fuck out of there. But he didn't, so, at least I had the sub to protect myself, but I could have taken him out with the Thunder right there. But he's going to close combat, break the sub, and I'm assuming this is the close combat Relic Song Thunder Hidden Power Ice thing, but I could have sworn it was Thunderbolt, because running Thunder in Sand, I think you have, what is it? 50% accuracy in Sand? No, you don't. Whatever. Anyway, in comes Terrakion, and once again, I don't switch out. I could have switched into Dragonite, but once again I stay in and I lose my Magnezone for it, and so I don't know, I kept foddering things off. I kept thinking he'll make the other play, he'll make the different play, but he didn't. He kept making the right play, and it paid off for him. So, yeah, that's part of it. I was my own enemy in this battle. I kept making the random prediction that just never paid off for me. So, it happens. I'm sure it happens to the best of them. I'm not exactly the best, but I've had games where my opponent is his own worst enemy, and here's my game where I'm my own worst enemy. I keep trying to predict up and down. Here again, I predicted him he knew that if he went protect, then I'd probably switch. So I predicted he wouldn't go protect, but he did, because he doesn't have to predict. I switch into Dragonite, so what? Earthquake probably won't kill him if he's incredibly bulky, which he probably is. However, I'm going to go into Politoed, because I need to get somewhere here. So I'm just going to get the rain up, because it's going to kind of force him to switch in a little bit. That's kind of what my thought process was. If he wants to get his sand up, then he's going to have to bugger off. So I bring in my Mienshao again, and my main plan here is I'm going to U-turn, because I need to get my health back after I cocked up last time. So he is going to protect again, because he can. He doesn't have to do anything else. I'm making the plays for him at this point. He's just got to click the right buttons. But he's going to go into Heatran again. That's fair enough. And I'm thinking, okay, I U-turn out. I get my Regenerator. I go into Dragonite. I don't know what kind of fucking Heatran this is, but surely Dragonite. Come on, man. So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, okay, I just got to EQ the Heatran. I can EQ the Tyranitar, and I'm okay. I'll be fine. And he spends a bit of time thinking, and I can understand why. But unfortunately, I'm running Adamant Dragonite, and he's running Timid Heatran. Timid Heatran outspeeds Adamant Dragonite, and I died. I was like, what? What the fu- How quick is Heatran? I was fucking livid when that happened. I was like, what the what? No! And here, again, I've put myself to the point where I have to go high jump kick. He knows that. He can sack Heatran. He can bring in whatever he fucking feels like to kill me. He can bring it, even if this Rachi didn't do it. Bring in Tyranitar, protect, I lose, so that is a good game. It was a really frustrating game, but again, it happens, and it was kind of interesting, because it's sort of, I see now, like, yeah, it was my fault. I did it all to myself in a lot of ways. He made the right plays, he made some good predictions, and he, didn't predict over and under, he just did it. He played well. Anyway, that is a good game, and yeah, I'll see you guys in a bit.